Nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help when no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace, but it's hard to find when my thoughts never cease. Everything I do is all consuming. My mind races, leaving me breathless and worn. I try to find solace, but it's fleeting, leaving me with nothing but the echoes of my screams. I shout for help when no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace, but it's hard to find when my thoughts never cease. Who am I to say I deserve peace? Maybe I'm better off just fading away. It's what I'm used to, this isolation, but deep down I long for connection. I shout for help, but no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace, but it's hard to find when my thoughts never cease.
SmackDown, boom.
SmackDown, we are here. Welcome.
Friday Nick SmackDown.
Welcome to the Radio Friday Night SmackDown recap. I am the innovator of Instagram, Curbside Hero, and I am here today with Nick. Tell us about the music that we just heard, Nick. What a song.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's going to probably be the only song that we get to hear tonight because the restream background music is completely broken. So that was Lore of the Fighter Doubt by Saskia Creations. Hey, go and again, that was such a great song. Go check that out. Boom, right there. Lore of the Fighter Doubt, Saskia Creations. Amazing banger of a song. It's on YouTube. Once again, Lore of the Fighter, take two, Doubt. Check it out. That was part one of a two-part song. It's going to be awesome. She's got a lot more where that came from as well. I'm going to be using that in my nerdy stuff. I got a D&D campaign I'm building up, and I will be using that for one of the bosses.
Nice. Well, of course, we're here to talk about the very taped SmackDown show that had a bunch of Michael Cole overdub relay.
There's so much overdub on there.
Dude, it was ridiculous. Nick, personally, I did not enjoy this SmackDown. Like you said before the show, it was certainly one of the SmackDowns of all time. felt very paint by numbers. It felt very like we have one show to go before Crown Jewel. Let's just get this shit out of the way. What were your personal feelings about the show, Nick? Was it the same as mine?
Yeah, I have to agree with you on there, Mac. Like, there was nothing about this show that really made me excited for the build up to Crown Jewel. It felt like they just had an extra episode, so they just wanted to, hey, we'll go from point A to point B, which is so weird because didn't they just have a banger of an episode right before Bad Blood? Like, what's going on here? I thought they were going to be loading up these cards and having just some amazing matches and feuds and rivalries leading into every pay-per-view. And this feels like it was just them kind of defying what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Triple H said that there was an initiative that before every PLE, there was going to be a SmackDown that had a main event that maybe didn't fit on the card, but fit in the main event of SmackDown. We had that great tag team ladder match a couple of weeks ago before the PLE. We've had a couple of bangers before that, but, you know, this one just seemed... And Nick, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but they obviously had the Saudi press conference today where they had Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns, the OG Bloodline, coming out and being on the same page when the SmackDown that they got on the same page had not aired yet.
I thought this was the group chat that we're in for the SmackDown show. Is it sure is WCW in here? Oh,
dude, it certainly is. Like, there's a lot of things that just didn't make sense continuity wise, but we'll get into it. So the show opened up tonight with the WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax, coming to the ring. She gave a brief promo about everything that she wanted going into the Saudi Arabian women's title match tomorrow.
The Queen looked amazing too.
She looked great. That belt looks great on her.
Yeah,
she's gotten in shape. She looks amazing. Yeah, so she came out saying that she gets everything she wants, and she wants that Saudi Arabian championship, and she's going to take it. Stratton came out the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she said that she was. Liv Morgan came out and said that she was open to cashing in on either woman. That she didn't care. You know, opening up the show with Tiffany Stratton bowing up to Nia Jax and pretty much having enough of her shit and enough to be and enough of being pushed around. I kind of like that side of Tiffany.
Definitely respected that.
Yeah, and then her saying, you know, I mean, they retconned it backstage, like we'll talk about later, about her saying, oh, I just wanted to get in Liv's head. But she showed a lot of personality in the opening segment. She showed a lot of balls and somebody that's worthy of holding that briefcase.
No, absolutely. And I think it harkens back to an old era when, you know, you used to think that whoever won that Money in the Bank briefcase, it was never brand exclusive. It was like, okay, I can cash it in on you, or I can go over to the other show and cash it on them. Yep. So I definitely appreciate that sort of callback there. And yeah, of course, you know, having Liv and Dom and Raquel come out, always looking so cool as they do and stealing the fan attention away.
Yeah. The one line that I liked was Tiffany said that if she cashed in on Liv, does he come with the title? And she pointed to Dominic Mysterio, and the crowd really got into that. They were like, "Oh shit! Oh!"
Look at that face.
He's thinking about it.
He's down.
So yeah. Ended with Tiffany knocking Morgan off of the apron and asking the referee to come out. We came back from commercial to see the match already in progress. Morgan was in control. It took a moment to give Dominic Mysterio some attention before Tiffany took over. Morgan ended up winning, and what turned out to be a very short match by rolling up Tiffany Stratton and holding her tight. After the match, Nia Jax took out everybody with Tiffany's briefcase and gave a gnarly Nia drop to Liv Morgan that looks like it just fucking killed her.
Sheesh. This is payback.
So my observation on this whole segment, that it didn't need to be 16 minutes. That's my whole big thing. I think you could have knocked this out in 10. I think it got the point across that it could go either way tomorrow.
What was that? You kind of cut out a little bit.
I said it could go either way tomorrow.
Yeah, I honestly, is it just me, or did it feel like this was like the same segment we've pretty much got the last couple of weeks, except
it's been the same segment the past 3 weeks? Yeah.
Absolutely. And like the only real thing that I'd say was different and really stood out was the fact that Tiffy was saying, nay, she was declaring that this will soon be her time.
Yeah. Did a good job with their promo. She gains more confidence every week. That reversal that Morgan counted the code breaker looked awesome in that match. She did like people give Liv Morgan shit because they say, you know, she's more of a character than she is a wrestler. But every time she gets in there, she seems, you know, she has a couple of missteps, but I think she gets better every week. And I mean, saying that to a wrestler who's been in WWE for almost 10 years that they get better every week isn't really a compliment. But I think she gets a little bit more shit than she deserves, you know?
Yeah, I don't think she's terrible by any means. I mean, she's not like absolute GOAT status, and
Yeah.
she'll probably be looked back on fondly, and I don't doubt that, you know, people will look back at her eventually in like 10, 15 years as like, yeah, but this lady that's currently wrestling in the year, you know, 2040, she's no Liv Morgan.
No, they won't say that, no. But did you notice, for the first time in a while on television, mentioned a certain former champion's name when Liv Morgan came out and said, "You don't think I can beat you? I retired Becky Lynch."
Ooh, it begins.
It begins. Yeah, so the next match that we got on the card featured Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins taking on Kit Wilson and Elton Prince of Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly came out with a playbill and handed it to the director of Hamilton in the front row.
This is great.
With the CD. And even while they were still looking at him, he did the throat slash like thing, but they were still happy. I think he might have improvised that. But they also handed him a CD, and I don't know if you caught it, Nick, but Michael Cole says on commentary, "Oh, where can I get a copy of that CD?" And Corey Graves says, "Oh, I think that's one of a kind." And Corey goes, "Well, maybe I'll download it on Napster." And Michael Cole, very, very under his breath, goes, "Oh, that will take forever." And
that was great.
Died laughing. I thought that was so good.
That is a deep cut right there.
Such a deep cut, yeah. I want to watch Bill Goldberg in what was supposed to be a 30-second match against William Regal on WCW Monday Nitro. Oh, no, it's porn. Damn it. I wanted to watch wrestling. Why is this labeled this?
Oh, man.
So, yeah, getting back to the match, Pretty Deadly attacked the Street Profits from behind to start the match. The Pretty Deadly kept Ford isolated for a little bit, got a lot of heat. I really like that with quick tags and double team moves. Dawkins eventually got the hot tag and turned things around. Dude, B-Fab body slams Prince at ringside while Fords and Dawkins hit the assisted blockbuster in the ring. Dude, that was great. She looked like $1 million tonight.
B-Fab was incredible.
Dude, the gear, her aura, slamming Prince on the ground, like, ready.
Bro, like, listen, I, for the longest time, just never really cared all too much for B-Fab, but tonight, though, man, she was on her A game, and she really didn't have to do too much either. Like, all she had to do was just stand there, but nah, like, she really just went above and beyond tonight, and I gotta give a huge shout-out to B-Fab there. She absolutely has, talk about wrestlers that have improved over the years, definitely here.
Yeah, I'd love to see her maybe get in the mix and get like a little bit of that Mia Yim Mitchin push for a little bit, you know, see what she can do. Yeah. Give her the ball, let her run with it, and if she fumbles it, she fumbles it. But give her a chance.
See what happens.
Yeah. So the Street Profits hit the Doomsday blockbuster, and they get the win. And which was I thought it was it was a SmackDown match, but for the time it filled, it was very good. And it
was not bad at all.
If you saw earlier in the week, Montez Ford did an interview where he said that he was where he talked about being in the United States Elimination Chamber, Championship Elimination Chamber a couple of years ago, and saying that management was really gassing him up for a singles push, and then all of a sudden it just got cut off at the knees, and that he's not getting any younger, and that he wants to have that singles push, and he's been very frustrated as of late, which I can see.
That's understandable.
Yeah. So a pre-recorded video of Kevin Owens asking why Randy Orton is making him do this. He says that he respects Randy Orton, he loves Randy Orton, and he admires Randy Orton and has admired Randy Orton for his entire wrestling career, even spanning before WWE. Randy was somebody that he looked up to, and he doesn't understand why Randy would turn his back on him. And he apologized in the car saying, I don't want to hurt you. I love you, but you're making me do this to you, and I'm going to have to hurt you, buddy. Very, Owens is supposed to be the bad guy in this whole thing.
Right.
The way that Owens is justifying this doesn't make you think he's the good guy, but it kind of gives him the benefit of the doubt that he really makes you believe that what he's saying he actually believes, and he's not bullshitting.
Right. And that's always been one of the things I've always loved about the Kevin Owens character. He has never been, a nonsense type of guy. He has always just been straight up business. And no matter what it is that he does, good or bad, like he's always had that. I've always described it as like the Breaking Bad type of thing, where he's in this to kind of support himself and his family. That's all he's cared about with being a wrestler in WWE. And I think that itself has applied greatly during this storyline.
Now, I wanted to ask you your opinion, jumping ahead a little bit. We'll get to the women's tag in 1 second, but I wanted to ask your opinion on this, Nick.
Yes.
In order for them to pay off on building Kevin Owens up like he's a monster, like having him cut these promos in a car saying that Triple H won't let him come to the building, and having the whole dog and pony show last week of Triple H coming out and saying, I'm not protecting you from Owens. I'm not protecting Owens from you and protecting you from Owens. What needs to happen tomorrow for this whole Owens is out of control, he's a madman situation to actually pay off? Because if he gets in there and he's just doing his standard moves like the rolling senton in the corner, or like the just standard Kevin Owens match, I think it's going to feel a little bit underwhelming, because they've been building this up since he turned after Bad Blood on Cody in the parking lot, and especially the SmackDown following when he attacked Randy Orton on the security camera. So what is going to happen for him? What in your opinion would have to happen tomorrow to pay this all off?
As I think about tomorrow and I think about the direction that the Kevin Owens storyline and feud has become, this needs to be what every match that calls itself a street fight should be. It needs to be Kevin Owens not wanting to wrestle Randy Orton. This has to be a Kevin Owens that wants to just beat the ever-loving stuffing right out of Mr. RKO. This needs to be like a Kevin Owens who is standing firm on his beliefs and is just not caring about having an actual true grapple, having a wrestling match with Randy Orton. It's not about 5 stars. It's about payback. It's about revenge. It's about making a statement. It's about a lot of things. And I wanted to see it at the end. Like, this needs to be not a bloodbath, but a brutal beatdown where, like, we got to have like all the road agents sprinting down and security getting involved and trying to separate them, and have Kevin Owens just be taken like an absolute danger. That's what I would like to see from this. But how about you, Mac?
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of things going all around online saying that this should be similar to the NXT TakeOver match that Kevin Owens had with Sami Zayn, where he powerbombed him over and over and over again and won the NXT Championship by stoppage. Or the Kevin Owens that was walking up the aisle with Sami Zayn, his best friend, had his arm around him and then pushed him down on the steel grate, and then gave him the pop-up powerbomb onto the apron.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
This needs to be Kevin Steen tomorrow.
Yeah.
No slight against Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has been a fantastic wrestler in WWE, a Hall of Famer, even now. But you need to see Kevin Steen tomorrow if they want this to pay off, because if he gets in there and he's just doing Kevin Owens moves, then there's a problem. But I'm gonna reserve my feelings until I see the show tomorrow, and if they do what I think they're going to do, then I'll come in the comments tomorrow where John and Greg will be doing the Crown Jewel recap show and bitch in the comments. So you can watch from me. I'll be the one in the red shirt with my dog on my lap.
Woo. Yeah. Hey, looking too at the card, it's one of those unusual, which is weird to say, those unusual wrestling cards for WWE's pay-per-views that has more than 5 matches.
Yeah, I saw that tonight. Yeah. That's weird, huh?
That's a 7-match card right now, and occasionally for those Saudi shows, I know they'll do a pre-show match as well. So I don't know if that's announced yet, or if they're going to switch one of the main 7 they've got on here to a pre-show.
Well, I mean,
WWE with some good quality stuff on there.
We can have a 4-hour pay-per-view with a 6-hour pay-per-view, including a pre-show with 5 matches. But they can also have one that has 7 matches. Like people have been complaining, saying, "Oh, there's only 5 matches on this pay-per-view." Yeah, but it's still like an 8-hour long like show with the pre-show and everything. The matches are just longer. So instead of stuffing 8 10-minute matches into a pay-per-view, you're getting 5 25-minute matches. So I never got that. I never got that gripe.
I've always been a personal believer in, just have whatever matches feel right to have on pay-per-view. Doesn't matter if it's 4, it doesn't matter if it's 10, as long as it all feels like they belong there and it's culminating in, or just a major step along the way for a feud, then go for it. I just hate when it's filler.
I don't know if you saw today, but Triple H said on the Saudi Arabia press conference that the belt will not be leaving Saudi Arabia. That
right, it's a ring.
That they will be getting a Super Bowl-esque ring to take with them, and that both the women's and the men's belt will be posed with in the ring in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and then left in the country for when they come back the next time. So that just defeats just make it a ring then.
Right. What's the point of these titles?
Why spend $15,000 on a belt or whatever you spent for those atrocities, and just get a ring? Who cares? But
they could have paid for more wrestlers.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it. So got some unfortunate news earlier this afternoon around 5:30 p.m. Eastern time here in Boston, about 4:30 time for my buddy Nicholas here, that the WWE parted ways with superstars. They parted ways with Tegan Knox. They parted ways with Baron Corbin after 12 years. And weirdly, because she's been on TV a lot lately, they parted ways with Indy Hartwell.
That was a surprise.
Which is a head scratcher, because she's been involved with the Nia storyline. She's been involved with the Candice LeRae WWE Speed title storyline.
Right.
And apparently, she's telling the truth on Twitter. Sean Ross Sapp tweeted, "Indy Hartwell will be departing WWE and effectively be a free agent in 90 days." And she posted, "Wait, what?"
Jeez.
So I really hope that's not the way that she found out, because that would be real shitty if that's
the way Sabu had to call the WCW hotline to find out that he got released from WCW.
Yeah. But weird turn of events, we got a women's tag match tonight. Before that, we saw Bayley and Naomi backstage. They ran into Nia and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton had a nasty mouse on her head from that first segment. Yeah, Nia says to her, "You said you were going to cash in on me out there." And she said, "Oh, I was just saying that it's just part of the plan." Bayley walks up and just, "Was that part of the plan?" And just points to the nasty mouse on Tiffany's head, which was crazy. And Naomi bows up to Nia and smiles and says, "Just keep that thing warm for me." And she points at the title. So that led to a match between Bayley and Naomi versus Candice LeRae and the now unemployed, unfortunately, Indy Hartwell.
I remember when this happened, I completely forgot this was pre-taped, so I messaged the group chat. I was like, "Indy?"
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I was so swerved at first, and honestly, I was just like, oh, maybe that was her response with, wait, what? Because she's still here. But no, this was unfortunately just a pre-tape. Just like I thought back to like 2010 when Mike Knox was released and then he gets squashed by JTG on SmackDown the next day from the pre-tape. Which, when I think about it too, Tegan, Corbin, and Indy were all on the SmackDown roster.
Yeah.
Which is already small as is.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation because Hartwell was featured on their social media content a lot. Has been seen on their social media, especially the other day dressing up like Chelsea Green and a bunch of other superstars on their Instagram page for Halloween. It's just unfortunate.
Corbin too was like heavily featured. He does a lot of like interviews and stuff for them, and he's been a company man for a long time. That one I was surprised about.
He was just on before that SmackDown with Apollo Crews fighting Garza and Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. They were in a dark tag match where they actually beat them before this taped SmackDown last week. So that's kind of weird. It seems to me like Indy was getting a lot of momentum in NXT. They had her in the whole Index storyline. Will they, won't they? Right. He was stalking her. She started to like him. They married. Then she wins the NXT championship at Stand and Deliver of all shows in a ladder match that Dexter Lumis helped her win. She goes to they call her up to the main roster in the draft like 3 weeks later. They strip her of the title, and then she's off of TV for a while. It's like very stop and go with Indy, and I kind of feel bad for her because I think that she's talented, and I think her playing second, well, not really second. I kind of think they were on equal footing, but her and Candice were a good act, and I'm going to miss seeing them on TV.
Yeah, they were fun together, and it's such a shame. This is always like the worst time whenever it's they used to call it spring cleaning or budget cutting season in wrestling. And allegedly, too, this is the first round, and there's going to probably be more to come.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that maybe Monday afternoon we get some Raw cuts before Raw. I'm really hoping not. I don't want to see anybody lose their job. But
yeah, that's never fun.
Getting back to the match, Hartwell took control early against Bayley and softened her up for LeRae. Bayley was kept away from Naomi during the break, and after a couple of minutes we returned. Naomi turned things around after a hot tag and won for the team with the rear view. It was a weird ending to a match that had some really awkward moments, including Candice LeRae trying to pin Bayley, but referee Jessica Carr just plainly goes, "She's not the legal woman," out loud. And then 2 seconds later, Candice LeRae stands up and just gets a face full of groceries from Naomi and gets pinned. What did you think of this match, Nick? I gave it a C. I thought there were a lot of clunky moments during the match. I thought that trying to fit maybe a 10-minute match into like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and it just didn't come across well. But
it honestly did not feel like this match really even needed to take place. Again, it's just so many of the matches and moments on this show tonight just felt like filler to me. And it's unfortunate, too, that this is what might very well end up being Indy Hartwell's last WWE match because it wasn't the best way to go out. But, hey, at least you didn't get pinned during it.
Yeah, what I find funny is that the WWE will announce Candice LeRae, or at least put on the chyron when she comes out, that she is the first ever WWE Women's Speed Champion, but she doesn't take the belt with her because I guess Elon wants exclusivity.
Right, which is so wild.
Yeah. Also, the other day,
the Tesla Championship.
This isn't a knock on WWE because WWE is my first love, and I've always said this to everybody. I may prefer AEW now, but I do enjoy watching SmackDown. Not tonight, but most of the time. WWE always touts that they have 1.5 million views for WWE Speed. I found out the other day through one of my connections that if you're on Twitter and you're scrolling on your phone, like this, and you just pass WWE speed as it's going on, like on your Twitter feed, you don't even stop, you just scroll past it, they count that as a view.
All right.
Which is
boosted numbers. Y'all love to see it.
which is a little bit of a conflated number because I've only watched one WWE speed match one time, and I think it was Apollo Crews and I want to say Andrade, and the match lasted like 32 seconds. So I was like, yep, I'm done with this. Okay, thanks. Let's move on.
Yeah. Speed's a very fun concept, wrestling wise. I kind of just wish it was like its own, like a bring back Velocity and make that just like a hour like Twitter stream and call it a day, because I just missed that.
Yeah,
That's
I missed a lot. Well, dude, I mean, they used to have bangers on Velocity. They used to have,
it is hidden gems.
yeah, they used to have like James Gibson versus like Spanky, and Spanky would like shoot on him and do his old ECW Guido like mixed martial arts gimmick. And dude, they had some great match. Paul London versus Brian Kendrick before they even started teaming as a team. Like, Velocity was a great show, but we're getting off track.
Speaking of Velocity and the word Guido, I am excited with the alleged announcement that Nunzio is going to be on NXT.
Oh, dude, I saw that hype video today, and they used the ECW like something,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Mhm.
anything short of Jack coming back from the dead and throwing Vic Grimes off the top of the scaffold. I don't want to hear that music. Do not give me that music for fucking NXT full of NIL failed football players in gymnastics. I do not want to hear that sound. But
I do hope that Tony D'Angelo's phone call was Nunzio.
oh, dude, I hope so too. I hope it's the FBI.
Gotta be.
It's gotta be. Just him, yeah. Oh, dude, imagine him versus like Nunzio. That'd be so great. Like, and Nunzio was doing really good shit in MLW as well. So
Nunzio can still go. That's like the best thing ever. And he's always been on really good terms with WWE. They've brought him back on occasion for either road agent work or as a substitute referee if there's ever a time that they need someone. So yeah, Nunzio can still go, and he's a legit dude too. Like, everyone talks about, you might not think it, especially with how he was booked, but the dude is uncharacteristically strong and can take you down.
do you remember the little 3-week feud that the FBI had with the Undertaker on SmackDown, where they just kept decimating the Undertaker, just 3-on-1. Yeah. And then the Undertaker finally had a match against Johnny Stamboli, and he just beat all members of the FBI in like 3 minutes, and it ended. But for like 2 weeks, the FBI went up on the Undertaker, and I was like, hell yes, one for the good guys.
Right, they were legit, dude. Like, I won't lie, I kind of hope Nunzio gets that kind of like second run on NXT. You know how like Rhino randomly got that? I want Nunzio.
Yeah. Really hoping for like Mama Luke and Big Vito. Like, I want the whole group. Shout out
everyone we can.
Big Vito follows me on Instagram.
Wow.
I said to him one time, I said, hey, man, you might want to mute my posts. I post like 30 times a day. I'm kind of like a journalist now on here. And he's like, no, man, I love all your posts. So shout out to Big fucking Vito. You are the man.
Let's go, Big Vito.
Uso and Roman Reigns come to the ring. So Reigns and Jey Uso can settle their differences before Crown Jewel. Jimmy says, begs. OTC, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, says, man, you got to squash this beef. Me and my brother fought at WrestleMania. We beat the hell out of each other, revisionist history. And
that match.
And if we can make up after all that, after all we went through, you need to squash the beef. Crowd chant, squash the beef, because they're the crowd. Dude, so Jay comes out, and this crowd loses their goddamn minds.
Dude, this was the part where I was fading away, going super ADHD, and Jay I snapped back into it. I was like, okay, this is what I am here for. This is what I'm going to watch. Jay was a star. Dare I say, when he came out, he was the bigger star than Roman there. Yeah.
So Jay comes out and says that he's only doing this to get back at Solo for costing him the IC title. Yeah. But as he thought about it, hurting the family even more. Jay said he wanted to, Jay says that he'll do this. He's not going to do it unless he is Roman's equal. No more lackey, no more sidekick, no more fall guy. He says, if we're going to do this, if you even disrespect me, you even look at me sideways, you even come at me incorrectly, I am out of here. The crowd is just eating this up. Yee, yee, yee. When I was watching this, I was like, here's the guy that was begging for Roman's approval inside the Hell in a Cell match in 2020, to the point where his brother had to save him because Roman was this big, just overarching, like, it can't be conquered, like Thanos of WWE. And now here we are, almost 4 years, well, a little over 4 years later, and he's in the ring, and he's got this confidence to talk to his cousin, the guy that tortured him for 4 years, the guy that made him take every beating that Roman deserved. And here he is going, if you even disrespect me, dude, this Jey Uso arc, where he was to where he is now.
Yeah.
Whether it was intentional or not, or WWE just kind of fell ass backwards into it with the whole Yeet thing. But his character from 2020 to 2024, you'd think it was a completely different person.
Dude, this was some of the best character development, honestly, that I could think of in WWE history. The way that we have taken Jey Uso, who everyone saw as just a perpetual tag team guy, with his brother, and is now, like you said, able to stand toe-to-toe with Roman and make demands that the tribal chief, who everyone saw as the juggernaut, is now adhering to. Like, that is some of the best character development you can ever have. And this is honestly further proof that, sometimes all it takes for wrestling to get really hot again is just one really great storyline. And I think the Bloodline storyline has been that for WWE for the past several years now. And this is always going to be something I will cite whenever any pro wrestling company starts to drag a little bit. WCW was dragging forever. You had the Dungeon of Doom, and like, who cared about that? The Alliance to End Hulkamania. But then we have the NWO, and that just kickstarted a revolution in professional wrestling. And honestly, I see that whole thing with the Bloodline storyline, because we went 2019, wow, it had potential, but wow, it was bad. Yeah. And then we go the following year to the beginnings of this Bloodline storyline, and there were a lot of people who were just not into it at the time. And to be fair, this was Thunderdome era, so it's 2020. We'll cut people some slack there. But honestly, as this has gone on, WWE has gotten so hot, and this, without a doubt, is constantly what people cite as the thing that brought them back into pro wrestling, or is the thing that really made them interested in WWE again. And yeah, it goes to show what the power of one really good story or one really good idea can do.
All of that, man. That, like you said, there are some people who are sick of the Bloodline storyline, but then there are people that absolutely love it. I don't know if you remember, Nick, but after night 2 of WrestleMania ended, we talked on this stream. Well, I wasn't here. I was at my place. On the night 2 stream that we did, where Triple H, in the post-show press conference, said, if you think the Bloodline story is over right now, he goes, wait until you see what we have coming for you. And I was like, oh, no. And I even said on the cast, I was like, oh, no. No. He ended the story. He killed the Bloodline. They're dead. The Baratheons are dead. No more. No, we're done. Right?
Yeah.
And then when Solo started up his shit a couple of weeks later, I was like, fucking God, they're turning Roman face? What? And I was like, I got to see this play out. And that's when I agreed to start doing every Friday night SmackDown with you guys, because I had to see this. Because I wasn't watching SmackDown. I was just watching the pay-per-views. I was coming on pay-per-view streams with you guys and talking about the pay-per-views and reading show results, because I wasn't watching the shows. But now I'm watching every SmackDown. I wish I didn't watch tonight, but I do have a job here, so I had to. But since I started doing the SmackDown recap after WrestleMania, I want to say, and I think you might agree with me, 85 to 90% of the shows have been watchable, good to
Oh, yeah.
watchable. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I will always think of the show, the Go Home show that had the tag team ladder match at the end and the dumpster match. Was that the one right before Bad Blood, I believe?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
That was such a good SmackDown. And, and two, like the amount of times we've had some real good SmackDowns that is just a lot of fun for us, even though we're all like real good, close friends. I got my brothers on here. It's real cool to be able to talk wrestling with them. But when we have good wrestling to talk about, like it's just so incredible to have that again, because for a long time, honestly, SmackDown was always just the neglected other show that they've even had talks in the past of reformatting or canceling or syndicating it. And there's always just been this guys for SmackDown that it's just a secondary show at a certain point in time.
Yeah. I mean, especially when they debuted on Fox in 2019, right after Brock Lesnar squashed Kofi Kingston, and then they had the Cain Velasquez storyline. That was real dark times. But to compare that to now, even this show, you still have the two biggest stars in the main event. You have Cody Rhodes and you have Randy Orton. You have the world heavyweight champion from Raw, Gunther, who is climbing the ladder every week and getting himself over as this monster heel. But even I look at it and I go, okay, this SmackDown sucked tonight, and it did suck.
It did, yeah.
Would I rather watch July of 2019, or would I rather watch November of 2024? And I think the answer is clear that it's November of 2024.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. But
even the bad, quote unquote, bad matches for tonight, at least they were quick and they flowed smoothly. And that's one of the things I've appreciated about SmackDown, even the bad episodes lately.
And even having a match like Bayley and Naomi versus Candice and Indy, you know who's going to win. You know what the ending's going to be. So even if you're not watching it and you just catch the ending, it's all right, well, Candice and Indy lost to Naomi and Bayley. Not much to say about this. Let's move on. It's kind of like one of those things. So, it's easily digestible, even if they are trying to force shit down your mouth. But getting back to this, so getting back to it, Jay says, yeah, I'm not your lackey anymore. I'm not your pushover. I am your equal. And Roman grabs the microphone and he takes a really long time. I got up and poured juice, came back, and he still hadn't said anything yet, even though we all knew what he was going to say.
There he is, just getting ready.
Yep. He grabs the microphone. He says,
"Yeet!"
Crowd goes wild. Jimmy goes wild. Chant hug it out, but I don't think that was in the format. So Jimmy just goes and puts his hand up to the sky. Jay goes over, puts his hand up to the sky, and Roman goes over and puts his hand up to the sky. And we have 75% of the bloodline back.
We out there, we're getting it, boys. Let's go. And I still love, all he said was yeet, and the crowd went wild. Oh, that was great. We've had some great crowd going wild moments this week, and I am very happy. Pro wrestling is on fire right now.
And we also have the little wrinkle thrown into it of Sammy talking to both the OG and the new bloodline on Raw. It wasn't mentioned on SmackDown because this SmackDown was taped before Sammy had talked to Solo, so they couldn't mention it on the show. Which goes back to my continuity thing. But what I took away from this was the way that Roman was looking at Jay. Jay had the crowd in the palm of his hand. It was a nice little touch because Roman. It kind of made Roman look like, wow, this guy is doing great without me. He never needed me, and that was kind of a great touch.
It definitely showcased that character development that we talked about earlier.
Thing I want to take away from this, Reigns has yet to apologize or show any real forgiveness for his actions towards his cousins in the title reign. And I wanted to ask you this, Nick. I've been waiting to ask you this question, but I wanted to get to this segment first. What is the end game with the bloodline? So what happens? They go to war. So I'm assuming that tomorrow is going to have some sort of fuck finish. and maybe Sammy chooses a side tomorrow, because we're getting pretty close to War Games, and they need a fourth to go up against Solo, Gorillas of Destiny, and Jacob Fatu. So what happens after War Games? If the OG Bloodline wins, right, and they vanquish Bloodline, what is the end game for this? Does Roman want to assume power back at the top and become that juggernaut again? Does he? Because all of this just seems like Roman wants to get his spot back, and we've noticed that anytime Roman had the belt or he was the top guy in the company, he turned into that asshole. So what is the end game here? Like, getting the Bloodline back up on top and starting all over again? Like, or do they win? It goes back to Raw. Jimmy does his singles thing, and Roman moves on to a feud with maybe Cody for the title at like Royal Rumble or something. Or where do we go from here? Like, it's very wide open.
It's like you said, wide open, and I think, when we do hit War Games, that's only going to be a bump in the road. Like, I still think we have years to go with all of the Bloodline stuff. I think we'll have moments here and there where things are going to slow down, and we'll start to, have them get involved with stuff apart from family business, because you can only do so many matches together within a short time frame. I could see Roman kind of stepping away, and we've always talked about, like, the connection with Cody, and just like thinking about how over the years how much a part of the Samoan dynasty that the Rhodes family have been for so long, that a lot of people do know, like, the impact and the connection those two families have. And I've always saw Cody as being such a major part of the whole Bloodline story, and it's one of those things where I think this is going to be going on for years. Like, honestly, when Triple H was talking about how, we haven't seen anything yet when it comes to this Bloodline story, Mac, I have been thinking the whole time that he's just kind of been addressing, like, we're only at the halfway point. This was definitely a big, like, climatic moment, but we still have so much more to go. And
so do you think we have another 4 years of this? If this is just 50%? Yeah.
I think we got easily like another 4 years to go with this. I think it's going to lead to Roman Reigns not just becoming a juggernaut again, but I think he's going to become the face juggernaut. He's going to be everything that Hulk Hogan was in the 1980s. I think it's going to be just a spectacular way to have Roman Reigns ascend as the true top dog of all of WWE, and making him again, have that rise. And I think too, we're going to have a lot more of the Samoan bloodline, a lot more family members getting involved too in the next couple of years. So I think that's going to be something to look for.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a Roman title run as a face, because that's exactly what they've wanted since 2014, and they got it in the palm of their hand now. It's just a matter of time before they pull the trigger.
Oh, exactly. And dare I say too, we talk about, Roman as becoming like this big, almost like an All Might or a Superman figure. I could easily see the antithesis of that, the true juggernaut. This is Doomsday. This is All for One. This is going to be what I see. I think that's going to be what Jacob Fatu will be. And I think that's going to be incredible to see those two as like the big top forces on each end of the spectrum of heel and face.
All right. So next up, we had we had 4 of the 8 participants in the WWE Women's Tag Team Title match coming up tomorrow at Saudi Arabia. We had Io Sky taking on Flash Legend, Piper Niven, and one half of the WWE Women's Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair, in a tag match. It looked like in this match they really had no plan for the first maybe 3 or 4 minutes of this match. The second half of the bout, they had a lot better energy and a couple of standout moments. But it just kind of looked like all over the place for the first 3 minutes of it, just with people getting hit with moves and rolling out of the ring, and then 2 people going at it, and then someone coming in and glomming somebody from behind. But really impressed me, and I don't think it's out of the ordinary to say that Bianca Belair is impressive because she's just a specimen. Just a she's basically like a robot at this point, like a female LeBron James. She's just an athletic powerhouse. She gets up Lash Legend, the kiss of death, and just drops her on her head. And she protected her. It looked awesome. Really put over Bianca's strength. But Sky from Sky hits the moonsault to Bianca after she had just Lash Legend hit her with the KOD. Bianca rolls out of the ring, and Io Sky pins Lash Legend, and she's the winner of the four-way. Now, let me just say, very respectfully, that Kairi Sane looked amazing tonight.
Absolutely.
She looked stunning. She looked gorgeous coming out to the ring.
Mac, I would take it a step further. Honestly, I think every single woman, either in the match or outside of the ring, I think they all looked amazing tonight.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jakara Jackson. I think that she's got the look. I don't watch NXT. I just kind of follow along with the Pro Wrestling Hipster Tyler's NXT review on Tuesdays.
Shout out.
Yeah, big shout out to Tyler. He was a great addition to Dirt Sheet Radio when he came aboard.
Good dude.
Here's my thing in this match. I say this every single week. Keep saying it every single time she's in the ring. Piper Niven, fucking incredible.
Absolutely. She's a standout.
Dude, she had like a minute in this match where she ran wild. She hit a clothesline. She hit the ST Joe in the corner. Io, and then hit Io with the running, like, fuck you, like Samoan, like, Samoan backdrop driver to the ground. She got up. She hit Bianca with a Michinoku driver. She was running wild until she got caught. She tried to give the sit down hip destroyer to Bianca, but she was cut off by Lash Legend with the big boot. But for that, like 45 seconds to a minute, holy shit, dude! Just let her run wild. Give her 3 minutes. Let her dominate everybody. For a bigger gal, is more athletic skill in her body than I have in my pinky finger. She is. I just don't know why they did the stop-start. I mean, I know why they did, because they went to Clash at the Castle and they needed someone to face Bayley. I much rather would have sacrificed the witches. What are their names? Isla Dawn and Alba Fire winning for Piper Niven getting the title. And even if she had it for like 3 or 4 weeks and she dropped it on a SmackDown before a pay-per-view back to Bayley, I think it's well past Piper Niven a title run, because every time she's given the ball, she has never fumbled it.
Honestly, she kills it every time she's in the ring, and that says a lot, because she is legitimately a killer in the ring. But like, honestly, she can go, and I really like the composition for this match. You know, you had 2 powerhouse destroyers in there. You had 2 very athletic women that can move. Like this was a great mixed match of talents, and all 4 women in here got the chance to shine, and I really appreciated that. There were some parts here and there where it kind of felt like some chemistry was off, or they weren't necessarily like warmed up for it, but it really picked up. And when it picked up steam, man, this match just went hard. And I have a huge respect for all 4 of these ladies in here. They all did great. I used to be such a Lash Legend detractor back in those early NXT days. I mention that all the time, but she has definitely improved, and she's got her own presence in the ring 100%. And again, I have they announced anything with Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend being called up officially?
I don't think so, but they're on the Saudi Arabian show. So, I mean, maybe it was one of those silent things, because they made reference when they came out, when they were in the crowd last week and they made their presence known. Sorry, that's the next match. Corey Graves made it a point to say that they were Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend from NXT.
Yeah, because they did give her. Usually they give like the NXT lower third, but this time she got the SmackDown one.
Can you pop up the picture of Piper Niven again for a second? Deadpool and Wolverine gear, anybody?
Oh, hey, yes, you're right.
Dressed as Deadpool and Wolverine for Halloween. Another reason to love Piper Niven. But
She's so good. She needs something. They gotta give her. She endured everything that happened with Doudrop. She earned this.
But yeah, like we said, Io Sky gets the win, and I honestly think tomorrow that Chelsea and Piper are getting the win, and they're going to become the new women's tag team champions. I think it's written in the stars.
They need to. I am rooting for them, dude. Literally, Chelsea Green went through utter garbage to get to this point, and Piper Niven endured Doudrop. Please, they both are so great. They're so entertaining. They're the embodiment of everything you want in a WWE superstar, and they're amazing women's wrestlers at that.
Absolutely. So we get a backstage segment with Cody Rhodes talking to Randy Orton. Cody is tying his shoes very aggressively. And Randy says, or Cody says to Randy, I know you have Kevin tomorrow, but maybe kind of take it easy on him because I need there's something to be left over for me. And Randy says, when I get in the ring tomorrow, I'm going to destroy Kevin Owens and there's not going to be anything left for you, buddy. I'm sorry. Cody says, kind of like whatever. And Orton stares at the belt. He's been doing that a lot lately. He's been staring at that belt a lot.
For a while, for months now.
Last week when he gave the belt to Cody after Cody was attacked by Kevin. And now when it was hanging up in the locker, he took like a good 5-second look at it. But that led to the main event of the show. Sorry, guys.
Don't forget the promo where the Bloodline just looked so cool.
Yeah, the Bloodline. Yeah, Solo says that he's not the bad guy in this. He says that Roman's bloodline fell apart. That, Roman was always there for Roman. Roman wasn't there for him, and Roman showed himself as not trustworthy and not a real family member. So Solo went out and got family members that he loves, family members that he trusts. And tomorrow, when the dust settles in the 6-man tag match, Roman will respect and love his bloodline, and he will acknowledge the true tribal chief, Solo Sikoa.
Solo.
Guys, my first time hosting the SmackDown recap. I know that we usually do the main event first, but I got nervous and kind of, so we're going to do the main event last.
Sometimes we do it this way. Why not?
Yeah. So the main event of the show was a tag team match between the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser versus the team of Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. The match, when this match started, there was 10 minutes left in the show. It included a commercial break. We didn't get to see a lot of the wrestling in this match. It was weird.
Yeah, that much.
Yeah.
And you could tell we got 3 former world champions and Ludwig Kaiser. We all know who's getting the pinfall there.
So
Fall Guy Kaiser.
So Cody and Gunther started, but Gunther immediately tagged out to Kaiser so he could take Rhodes down. They had a typical WWE SmackDown main event tag team match for a show that they were just trying to get rid of before the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. After a solid back and forth tag, Rhodes pinned Kaiser to score the win. The Viper took out Gunther with an RKO so that Cody could hit the crossroads on Kaiser. After the match,
this shot, we gotta say it. It's a new day. It's a new generation.
Oh man, Ted DiBiase Jr. needs to run out of the crowd.
There he is. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I know. The match. Hops in the ring and takes out Randy's back of a knee with the chair. You notice that when Kevin hit in the back of the chair, he kind of flipped the chair up in the air, caught it, and then hit him in the back with the chair. Did you see that?
I saw that, and then was it just me, or did Randy kind of have a little bit of a delayed reaction to the chair as well?
Yeah, so he hit him with the chair, he hit him like this, and then he threw the chair up, caught it like that, then went boom and hit Randy Orton. I was like, that was so fucking cool.
That was cool. I like that.
Yeah, but so Randy was down and Cody was staring at Owens, and it looked like he was going to lunge towards him, but the ring general, Cody, in the sleeper hold, as all the agents rushed to the ring, including Maple Leaf Muscle Williams. Awesome to see.
Big Petey Pump.
Shout out to Petey
Little
Williams,
Petey Pump, I should say.
creator and master of the Canadian Destroyer.
They got to give him one match.
Dude, I really hope so. They took his move and moved it and gave it and made it like a move that starts off a match, a transition move. When that move first debuted in TNA in like 2006, 2007, that move killed people.
That move took the world by storm, and I'm not talking about when all the wrestlers started doing it. Like when he hit that, dude, like all the wrestling forums were popping off at the time.
I was watching a match the other day, not to get off too, we're almost done, but not to get off too. So it was a match. It was TNA's last weekly pay-per-view. It was, if you want to watch it, it's not as good of a match as it sounds, but it's still good. It was Kid Cash versus AJ Styles in a 2 out of 3 falls tables match.
That sounds awesome.
It was awesome, but there was a lot of shenanigans with like Shark Boy and a lot of other people, and Shark Boy wearing Hulk hands and New Jack. And New Jack
with the Hulk hands is such an iconic image.
Yeah. But after the match, AJ was having AJ became the number 1 contender in that match. Petey Williams comes out and hits AJ Styles with the Canadian Destroyer. AJ sells it like his neck is broken. They all come out. The EMTs take out AJ Styles on a stretcher. It was like he was dead. Now you see a Canadian Destroyer off the apron from Vikingo, and the guy gets up 5 minutes later and he's doing a fucking body slam. So, like,
it's just another move now.
Just another move. But so my takeaways from this match, Nick, was that Gunther definitely needs a ring jacket. Don't come to the ring without a ring jacket anymore. I want to see the ring jacket flip. It
doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I know. And another thing,
it looks like he's in Shawn Michaels mode, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Orton's participation was very limited. He was only tagged in with a couple of minutes left, and like I said, the 5-minute commercial really stifled this match. You really didn't get to see a lot of the wrestling in the match. You only got to see maybe the last 3 or 4 minutes, and with in Michael Cole commentary and everything all over the place tonight. Overall, I gave this SmackDown a D. I did not enjoy this show. I was telling Nick before the show, at one point, I was sleeping on the couch and I rolled over and I fell off the couch and it woke me up. That is not a lie.
Man, when I think about this show, like, I'm gonna give it like the percentage grade. Dude, this felt like I'll give it like a 50 to 55% range. That's an F. It's on the upper echelon for me, but man, the upper echelon F range. But yeah, it was not a great show. It didn't hit the same. Like, if this was of the same caliber and the same quality that they had with that Bad Blood Go Home show, man, that would have been great. And, I get it though. Like, you don't want to overstack a pre-tape that people are going to be telling you everything that happens. But at the same time, if you have a real stacked pre-tape and the matches are good and everyone's talking about how amazing they were, man, I don't know about you, but that makes me want to see it even more.
The only thing I took away from this show was that it showcased twice as many women as it did men, which is pretty good. All right, so do we want to go to our Jobber of the Night, Nick?
Let's do it. Jobber of the Night, powered by comicbookclick.com. Go and check that out for the latest in wrestling news, comic book news, anything nerd culture. Go to comicbookclick.com.
Nick, I will give you, my friend, the dubious honor of going first, picking your Jobber of the Night. Who do you got?
All right. When it comes to the Jobber of the Night, that is actually a very good question. I'm going to have to go with Candice LeRae. I mean, we've got this woman who's, she just lost her tag team partner due to budget cuts. And then on top of that, she's supposed to be getting promoted in this push as the Speed champion. It's like Speed doesn't even matter in the mainline WWE continuity. It's almost like the Saudi shows. But, it's such a shame that Candice LeRae is such a talent, but she just felt like an afterthought tonight, which sucks because, again, she's so good and she deserves so much more. So, unfortunately, Candice, you are my jobber of the night. Mac, how about you, buddy?
So I'm going to surprise a lot of people when I say this, but I'm going to give continuity and a lot of texture to my a lot of flavor and seasoning to my my jobber of the night. My jobber of the night is going to Gunther. So number one, Gunther, because no ring jacket. Just you look like you're not wearing any pants at all around that. You just look like naked Gunther. Just stop. Like bring out the jacket. If Ludwig Kaiser is going to take the fucking pin, just let him do the fucking jacket flip. At least it makes him look cool in the entrance, Right. Number two, you're having your world heavyweight champion, which, let's face it, is the secondary belt in the company. Everybody knows that Cody's belt is the main belt. Why are you having your champion take an RKO from a guy who's not even in the title match with you? Okay, I understand that way for you not to break up the pin, but there were a ton of other ways. He took the rope-assisted DDT today. He took the RKO, and the only redeeming quality is that he put Cody in the chokehold. Now, here's the seasoning. PW Insider reported last week that Bill Goldberg will be in attendance for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia, which only leads me to believe that he will cost Gunther the match, and that Gunther will be losing to Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes will be having that ring or title or whatever it is, MJF's ring. I don't know.
I'm feeling vibes of when Goldberg cost Brock Lesnar the title against Eddie Guerrero.
No Way Out. Yeah, 2004. Yep.
Great match.
Excellent match. But having him lose to Cody is going to make that belt seem even more secondary. And Gunther's going to get pinned, and he's going to go back to Raw, and he's going to feud with Damian Priest again. And, Damian Priest has improved a lot since he lost the title, granted. But, yeah, man, I have the funniest feeling that tomorrow night Gunther's going to get jobbed out, and he's going to be made to look like a fool. And, yeah, so I'm going to go with Gunther tonight for taking the RKO, the rope-assisted DDT, and in the 4 minutes of wrestling we saw in the main event, it was mostly just him getting his ass whooped.
Which is such a shame because he was, for the longest time, one of the most protected monsters in a very long time.
Yeah. And especially when he had a secondary belt like the Intercontinental Championship. Now he's the world champion. You would think that they would book him as strong or maybe even as stronger than they did when he was the Intercontinental Champion. But all right, so we both got our jobbers. So let's go to our megastar of the night.
Let's go. Someone else finally joining me and pronouncing it that way. I am so happy, man. And this is powered by Cold Case Project. My brother Tony runs Cold Case Project on YouTube and is also now on Spotify. Go check it out. It's a channel that focuses on all kinds of disappearances, murders, and other cold cases. So if you like true crime content, go.
Shout out to Tony LaRocco. Let's fucking go.
Let's
All right,
go.
Nick, you did the job of the first time, so I'm going to give you the honor again of doing your megastar of the night.
Megastar. Honestly, I don't know why I closed that out, but I will pop that right back up. And my megastar of the night, there is no other way. She looked phenomenal tonight. I gotta go with Piper Niven. She is fantastic in the ring. She's fantastic out of the ring. She looks great, and she just is one of the most believable wrestlers who just knocks it out of the park every single time, no matter what it is they task her to do. Again, please, WWE, give those two the tag titles. Mac.
So you took my first one. So I'm gonna go with my second. I'm gonna go with my second one. Piper is always in my heart. I love her. So let me preface it by saying that. But I'm gonna go with Jey Uso. He came out tonight, and that crowd who had just watched almost 3 hours of a 4-hour SmackDown taping went absolutely fucking bonkers for him. The way that Roman looked at Jey, the way that Roman had the realization of, oh, he didn't need me to. He went off on his own, and he's in a better spot than I am now. Like, and he holds all the cards. I have no cards right now. I need him. He doesn't need me. Look at him. And him saying, I'm not your lackey anymore. I'm not your little cousin. We are on equal footing. And for the tribal chief, the Thanos of WWE, to say Jey Uso, who has been booked over the past 15 years in WWE as primarily a tag team wrestler, for Roman Reigns to acknowledge Jey Uso by saying his signature catchphrase, "Yeet." That is why Jey Uso is my megastar of the night, because this man is the god of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Mac, you know what's funny too, not sorry to interrupt you there, is if you started first and said Piper, I was getting ready to say Jey Uso, because honestly, those two, without a doubt, were the shining stars of the whole show tonight.
This is why you're my WCW partner, buddy. This is why you're my yin to my yang, brother. You know.
Let's go, brother.
But yeah, that was the SmackDown recap for November 1st, 2024. Me and Nick, on a little side note, have decided that our next WCW rewind of a show is going to be the infamous 1998 WCW Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, which featured I think there was only 3 -5-star matches by Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It is the highly anticipated rematch between Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, what is considered one of, if not the worst wrestling matches of all time, which ironically followed one of maybe WCW's best pay-per-view main events of all time, where Goldberg defended the WCW Heavyweight Championship of the World versus Diamond Dallas Page in a match that 95% of the pay-per-view viewing audience watching live at the time did not get to see, because WCW went over their 3-hour mark on pay-per-view and the feed was cut, forcing WCW to show the match the next night on Nitro for absolutely free as a do-good.
Absolute blunderful event where a lot of the wrestlers on the undercard, they try their absolute hardest to make things work. This tells you how bad certain things got on the show. Hulk Hogan himself, brother, the master of 1,000 lies, even has gone on to say that was probably one of the worst matches ever, and he has always apologized for that one. So to make Hulk Hogan tell the truth, that tells you everything you need to know about Halloween Havoc 1998. But while the event itself might be very cursed, it also gave us, without a doubt, I'm going to go and say this is the greatest wrestling stage of all time, because look at that.
My God.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And that will be the stage that when Nick and I do our podcast, which could be, maybe another 2 weeks from now, because my schedule is kind of wonky working nights. And
November is going to be a super busy month for me.
Yeah. And I have to watch shows in pieces because of my job. But we promise, we don't lie here at Dirt Sheet Radio. We always give you the 100% unbiased truth, but don't tell that to the commenters on the Facebook page, that we will be bringing you the spectacular dog shit with a little bit of ice cream sprinkles on the top of it as a redeeming quality, the WCW 1998 Halloween Havoc pay-per-view. But Nick, if you want to tell the wonderful people watching, we're on every day of the week. Holy shit, every day.
Radio. We're always on. Hey, speaking of Dirt Sheet Radio always being on, shout out to Greg popping on in here. Greg saying, I wish they had to work just a little harder for the reunion.
Yeah, Greg, I wish so too, but that SummerSlam Survivor Series pay-per-view is creeping up very quickly, and we only have a couple of SmackDowns left, so
gotta build up. Bang, bang, bang.
Speed run, yep. But Nick, tell the people where they can find us every day.
Yes, every day. You said speed run, so hey, let's get to it. This was, of course, Friday night SmackDown, but when you have SmackDown, of course, you got to have Raw. So there's, of course, the Monday Night Raw recap on Mondays. There's also going to be the one-day updated logo for the NXT Rewind on Tuesday. You could join myself on Wednesday nights for the Dynamite recap show, and then later on, Wrestling's Best Kept Secret is one of the greatest podcasts of all time. We saw him at the very end there, popping on in there. Of course, Mac and I are in there, and our boy John, who wasn't here this week, but he'll be back next week, hopefully. We always got shout out to John. We got the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship podcast. Of course, all your favorite senior admins of Dirt Sheet Radio are going to be talking wrestling as we've done for how many years now? Yeah, it's just so many. But of course, then following that, we have Thursday night TNA Impact recap show. You're here Friday night. You know about this. Smack Sound, Friday, Nick, Mac, John coming back at y'all live next Friday. I probably won't be there because I got a mandatory work day. But you know what?
Boo. I'll be here.
But heck yeah. And speaking of heck yeah, we got at some point CJ and Tyler. They're not going to talk about Level Up. What is that anymore? They're just going to talk about wrestling. Hey, we enjoy that. Speaking of talking about wrestling, don't forget to join the boys on 3NT for every Sunday. They're going to be talking a lot of wrestling. And hey, Danny Ocean right there on the right side, he's been streaming some Call of Duty content. So if you enjoy video games, hey, go check that out. And some of the Dirt Sheet Radio lads might even be playing Call of Duty with him in the near future for some upcoming streams. So check that out. And of course, like we mentioned, Mac and I are going to be doing Halloween Havoc 1998. Once again, take a look at that bad boy. That's such a good stage. That is so cool. I'm going to make sure that's our background when we're doing this.
What time tomorrow is Crown Jewel? I know they do it early. Is it early? Is it 12? Could you maybe punch that up really quick for me?
Crown Jewel 2024. Yes, because remember, folks, they are in Saudi Arabia tomorrow, so it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern time. So Make sure you get your alarms ready to go. I also am going to be watching League of Legends Worlds because it's going to be the World Championship for League of Legends. South Koreans T1 is going to be taking on China's Bilibili Gaming. We might make a post about that. We might not. We'll see how that goes because there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on with wrestling and everything. But yeah, Mac, where are they going to be able to find you?
They'll be able to find me at Curbside Hero, the innovator of Instagram, one of the first people to run a wrestling Instagram back in 2013, 14, when no one was really doing it. I'm calling myself the innovator of Instagram. Nobody gave me that nickname. I know you're not supposed to give yourself a nickname, but fuck you and fuck anybody else who doesn't like it. Speaking of that, somebody by the name of John Escudero and Greg will be doing sometime after Crown Jewel tomorrow, the Crown Jewel podcast recap. So, turn on your notifications on Twitter, Instagram, or wherever else you get your social media for Dirt Sheet Radio so that you'll be notified when they pop on. Nick, where can they find your handsome ass?
Woo-hoo. Well, you can find even just beyond that, just, my face or the rest of me or any of my wrestling opinions and things I share. Whatever you want, I will be sharing it on Facebook. You can find it anytime on the Dirt Sheet Radio Facebook page. You ever see Nick LaRocco in the comments section or any of my content being shared on there, hey, feel free, please give me a follow. Go and comment on my stuff. It's so cool to be able to see everyone talking about everything wrestling, and I love being able to join in with you guys. Mac, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but you kind of were talking about Curbside here. Around the time I started to kind of break into the wrestling social media game in like 2013, 2014, when I became one of the admins on We Love Pro Wrestling alongside John, I remember always hearing about this legend, the Curbside Hero. And who'd have thought now that I would be right there sitting with him, be able to call him one of my bros.
Almost 10 years later. Listen, man, back in the day when I was Curbside Hero, I was saying and doing a lot of things that I regret that I could have been canceled for. Now in 2024, I'm not like that anymore. I'm very approachable. I'm not angry. I got my life in check. I went to therapy. I'm good.
That's perfect. You're not angry. You're just disappointed. And that's how life is in 2024.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do we got here?
James, on real quick, last second message. Hot takers. Is Tiffany cashing in Liv Morgan? Rhea is injury chain. There's a lot you just said there. Hey, do you think Tiffy's going to cash in tomorrow?
I don't think so. I think it's a red herring. I think that she's going to I think she's going to cash in on a bigger show. I mean, if you want to do it in Saudi Arabia and make a moment because they are, they are paying WWE a lot of money to come there and stuff like that, they might want a moment. My gut says no. I've been a lot.
Yeah. No, honestly, like you said, I think it's going to be a red herring. I don't think anything's going to really happen. I think she'll get involved. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there'll be the tease of the cash in, but I don't think the time is now.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Friday Nick SmackDown review for November 1st, 2024. We appreciate you joining us, and we will be back here next Friday night. Not Nick, but me, and maybe John, and maybe somebody else. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be me alone. I'll have to do a solo cast like Tyler.
Ooh, solo Maccast. Let's go.
Ooh, base solo Maxcast. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's end it with that amazing song, Lore of the Fighter.